All right, guys, so I'm headed to an emergency service call. Got a call last night that one of my clients that I've had for probably about good 6 to 8 months now. I've done a few service calls for her that her AC keeps tripping out her breaker in her panel. And she already called an AC contractor, which I recommended, so that they can make sure that they check everything on the inside, because a lot of times it is something with the AC, but they came back and said the AC was fine, has to be something on the electrical end. So we shall see. So we're going to head out there. I'll do a complete walkthrough of how I troubleshoot ACs. Hopefully we'll be able to find the problem, and I'll be able to break it down and record each step of the process. So hopefully this video gives value to somebody out there who may be trying to troubleshoot their AC. All right, so we're gonna go to the house. We're about to pull up to it. I had to stop and give me a cup of coffee to get my brain started because I got a feeling it might take some time. All right, guys, here we go. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is check the amperage. Meter. See what we got going on. Let's see, 10.3 amps. Line 1. Bring it over. So we have a 30 amp breaker. 10 amps on one. 10 amps on the other, so we're not overloading the circuit. Let's move on to outside. All right, so for the inside, take my mask off. So for the inside, we see that it was connected to a 30 amp breaker, right? And then we saw we had line A and line B. Now there's a rule that you never want to load your circuit breaker above 80%. So 80% of 30, I don't know what that is, let's say 25 for each leg, right? That sounds about right. So when we did it in the last section, you saw that on line A was like 10.4 amps, line B was like 10 point something amp. So you're good to go for that right there. We're not overloading the breaker. So far our breakers and wires is good. So that's not causing it to trip out. So now let's go to the unit on the outside. We see it's up here. I'm about to climb up here real quick. Look at the disconnect, make sure that all those wires are good. I might even open up this the side panel of the AC just to see exactly if I can see anything in there. Let's see what happens. All right, so I found the disconnect outside. It doesn't look to be that bad. It doesn't look to be that old. We're gonna open it up. Can't really get to it. See it right there. So this is one of those pull disconnects. So we're going to actually open it up. There's a screw at the bottom. See if I can move my camera closer. Bear with me. Oh, the joys of being in the field. But you got to do your due diligence. Uh-oh, camera drop. Edit. Nah, we're not going to edit. This is real time, man. Alright. I just hold it. Perfect right here. So we're going to take off this screw. I'm going to look at all the wires. We already know that it's not overloading and tripping. I asked the homeowner to turn it down so that it can run hard. And as you can see in here, Watch, as I put my phone on it, it's gonna vibrate. So that thing is moving. It's probably about 78 something degrees outside. So it's pushing, it's sweating too. It's not a really good sweat. You see, sweating as the pipes are wet. So I wish I had some gauges to see, you know, how much Freon's in there. And I know it's not going Freon, so excuse me for all the HVAC tech guys out there. All right, let me open this up and see what we see. All right, y'all. I see what the problem is. As soon as I open it up, look right there. Look right there. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can see it. See if I point to it. Right there. You see those two wires that is cut or have been touching? Yeah, that causes a problem right there. That causes a problem right there. That's the reason why it's tripping out. Now you may ask, well, what could possibly have made this trip out? What could possibly have done this? Well, if you notice, there's no connector here. There's no connector in the back. So those wires could have gotten skinned as it's sitting here. When they pulled it in, whoever installed this disconnect in the worst place ever, and they probably didn't leave a lot of slack in the line. They didn't put it through an approved connector, so that's why the wires probably gotten skinned over time. It's been exposed to the elements. You can see there's rust on the bottom of it. All that plays a part. All this plays a part in why wires corrode easily, become brittle, can get skinned up and begin to touch. When that hot and that neutral touched, then it's going to trip out that breaker every time. Can I zoom in? Right there. It's going to trip out that breaker every time, guys. That is a nasty burn right there. So I'm going to take a picture, send this to, go inside, talk to the homeowner, show her exactly what I got. And then I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and change out the whole disconnect box to make sure that we get the approved one that is not going to rust and cause this issue again. All right, so let's do it. All right, guys, we're leaving our favorite box door, of course. We have our non-metallic, non-fusible air conditioner disconnect. We're going to go back to the house and give this a good install and get their AC back on and working properly. So let's go. All right, so once again, we're out here at the disconnect. The first thing that we're going to do is take it all apart, disconnect everything, see can we salvage this wire. It's off at the breaker. We may need to try to maybe pull this out, cut it back some, make a slight connection right here, a junction or something right here. We'll see. So we're just going to take this off the wall and get our new one up in there and installed. All right, so we got the disconnect completely off. I was looking at the integrity of the wires. See, look at that, watch this. It just broke off completely just now. So we had to try to expand it. See, I didn't want to just put some tape on it. I know some people will put some, like, you know, tape on it and try to say it's good. Look at that, as soon as I did a simple twist, they both broke completely free. They would have been calling me back out. Look at that. Look at that. So what are we gonna do? We was able to pull some slack out of the wall. I'm hoping this is enough. We'll cut back through here, make some new ends up, be able to go inside our new disconnect. So I'm gonna put the disconnect on and then go ahead and wire it up. All right, guys, so we got in the new disconnect. As you see, the difference is this is a non-metallic, non-rust one. You know, we're in the flood rated area. We're on the island, Daniel Island. So, you know, you have that, you know, ocean water, that seawater. You see how it's right here? And you have the metal stuff outside. You're prone to having that rust. Rust on metallic boxes outside is not good. So, got a plastic one, would never rust. You see we have the approved connector coming back. This right here is a plastic piece as well, so we didn't chip on any other wires. And then of course we got our other wires here and we got it all put in there. Nice tight connections, everything's good. We're gonna go ahead and finish putting it together and turn it back on. All right, another successful troubleshooting mission. They shouldn't have any issues anymore. The AC is back on. Don't know if you can hear it running, but it is what it is. So and the homeowner is happy. And just got to do a little cleanup and take the old parts out of here and wrap it up. So, yep, guys, so once again, we're finished up. We figured out what the problem was. You see how my system and processes work. For me, I always like to start at the panel. For the most time, I like to start at the panel, just trying to work my way in from there to make sure that the breaker is good, make sure that my wires on the breaker is good, my connections are tight. I always try to do like an amp load. So whenever a customer says that the breaker is tripping, a lot of times the breaker trips because it's overloaded. So I always try to figure out, well, what is my amp draw? How much power is the appliance pulling, or, you know, things of that sort. So fortunately, their air conditioner is good. They don't need to do anything on the inside. It was just a splice wire that was in the disconnect. So once we figured out that problem, we got those wires fixed. We got a new disconnect in. Now they shouldn't have any problems with the AC. So I hope you guys kind of learned something about how you troubleshoot. Always start at point A and work your way down that line. If you know what the system is supposed to do, it's easier to figure out what it's not doing. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. And like I say, any of your residential or commercial service needs, call the #1 service contractor in the Charleston area, Ram Electric, your one-stop shop for electrical needs. See you guys next video.